Hi, I'm Steve. We're going to be working on my 2008 WR250R today. A couple months ago I fried the clutch. I just haven't got around to fixing it. So we're going to pull the clutch off, pull the old clutch out, and put the new clutch in. It's a real simple project. I'll go through the tools you're going to need and how to do it and the torque specs and all that. It's not going to take very long. So let's get started. Okay, now to replace the clutch in the WR, I'm leaving it on the side stand instead of putting it on my motorcycle stand because it's leaning over to the side and you can see the oil fill level. When it's leaning over, the oil's down below where the clutch housing is. So I don't need to even drain the oil to do this. It's very quick, easy. So like I said, I don't even need to drain the oil. I'll do an oil change after this and maybe videotape that as well, just to make a separate video. But to replace the clutch, like I said, we don't even need to change the oil. And we only need a couple of tools. I'm going to need a 6mm Allen, 8mm and a 10mm socket, pair of pliers, and I do need a bucket of fresh oil, and of course my clutch plates, which are in there, and I'll get those out here in a second. Okay, let's get these out and I'll show you what the oil is. Looks like the box came open. I got new springs, clutch plates. I was kind of expecting a gasket. There it is. Now we want to get all of the fiber discs soaking in oil before we even start, so they can get penetrated well. And this oil is going to be whatever oil you normally put in your bike. I'm not going to get into that argument today. We want those good and lubed up. So, I'm going to let those soak while we get everything else ready. Alright, the first thing we have to take off, give me the camera. We have to remove the brake lever so we can get to these bolts and get this cover off. And it's an Allen bolt, but back behind it, up on the back of it, there you can see it there. On the back of it, there's a little cotter pin, and that's why I have my pliers. I can't see where I'm working here. There we go. All right, I'm gonna have to put down the camera to get this. Oh, no, no, look, I got it, I got it. Ugh. Just a cotter pin. And then that washer comes off. So now we have washer and cotter pin. And then we just take a 6mm Allen wrench and pull this right off. It's all tight. There's my bolt. And then once we get that off, this just slides off. And we'll also use our pliers to remove these springs. Let me see if I can get to where you can see this. There's one in here. I'll just grab that and pull it off. And then this big one, again, it just comes off. That one, I will just get out of the way. Where can I put it? Right there. Doesn't matter. This bottom one here, if I can get where you can see it, I'll remove this whole thing here. There we go. That's just a little spring for the rear brake lever. And then these are all just 8mm bolts. Have to come off. We'll pull this plastic cover off first, which is these three. And I'll put the bolts back in the holes I got them out of. So I know where the long ones go and where the short ones go. And then set this off to the side. Wipe that off. Try and keep as much dirt and dust out of here as we possibly can. And then all of these just come out. Let me loosen them with the wrench first. And just spin them out with the drill. And I'll also keep these in order. I'll show you. I just throw them on a paper towel, but I keep them where they come out. 2 short ones on the bottom, and the longer ones all the way around the top. And then we just pop this cover off. With a screwdriver. There's our clutch. Those are just 10mm bolts. For the springs. And again, keep them in order. Probably doesn't matter, but and I keep them so I can put them back in right where they came out. I've got new springs in the kit, so again, that probably doesn't matter. But this just then comes right off. And there's what the inside of the clutch looks like. And these are just stacked fiber and steel. You can see how burnt that is. Ow. I'm going to get, well, here, let me do this. I'm just going to use a little pick to get in here. Help me get these out with my fat fingers. There, you can see that the clutch itself looks really good. But if we take one of these new discs and compare it to a burnt one, you can see this one's fried, it's burnt. And this is what it should look like. So what are we? We're only a couple minutes in this video. Just making sure my fiber discs are all coated in oil. But this is literally all there is to it. We take an oil-soaked fiber plate, and then you take one of these new steel plates, I'm using my knife, new steel plate, I might put some oil on that, And then another fiber. And then another steel. Then we can put this back on. And our springs. Now, see, I'm using these new springs I just got in the kit with the old bolts. Now, I'm going to use my drill, but I'm turning the, let me get another paper towel in my hands. Hands have oil on them. I'm turning my clutch here all the way down. So it's not going to be able to tighten them. I'm just using this to run them in because it's faster. And then I'll get the torque wrench and torque them down the way they're supposed to be. Now I use my torque wrench, and it's 5.8 foot-pounds, but I'm using a 1/4 inch torque wrench, which is in inch-pounds, so that is 70 inch-pounds. So I set that on 70, and I tighten these in the star pattern just the same way you would lug nuts. Let me get them close. Okay, so now I'm going to torque them down, and like I said, do them in a star pattern just like you would your lug nuts. It's not real tight, actually. Go over them a couple times just to make sure I got it. There we go. We don't want any gunk in our engine. And then I have a new gasket to put in. This one is pretty much brand new though. I'm going to leave it. If it leaks, I'll put the new gasket in. But this one looks fantastic. So I'm not going to mess with it. Like I said, I do have a brand new one. If I have any problems, I can pull it out. You've watched, it only takes a minute to pull this cover off. Make sure this is all clean. So now, and then since I kept my bolts in the same place, oh jeez, there, there, there. Over there. And again, I'll use my drill set really, really low. Oops, just 8mm. Need the other socket. With the clutch set really low just to get them run in. Instead of 70, yeah, we're up more like 86 foot-pounds, or 86 inch-pounds. And I'll go around, get them all close. That's it. Let me put the plastic cover back on. That's it. The brake lever. Coming back up here. I have to reconnect my springs. Well, let me put the little one in there first. Where did it go? Let me get it started. Alright. Can you see this? Large one goes in the back and the small spring goes up front. And big one's for the brake light switch. Oh, come on. And the little one's just to hold it. And if yours doesn't have grease on it, I would definitely grease this up. Mine, I had this off not too long ago, so it's still got some good grease on it. I'm not gonna mess with it. But if you've never had yours out from the factory, it's not gonna have grease on it. You're definitely gonna want to grease it up. But like I said, I've had mine off and it's all greased up and good already. And then it's just a little washer goes on next, and then put the cotter pin in it on the back, and we are done. That's it, all done. It only took, yeah, I didn't keep track of time, but what, 15, 20 minutes? And I'm filming the whole thing. Moment of truth.